All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the XRL Extreme Racing League's development tier, racing round 8 here at Mexico today. I'm your host, XRL Dragon. I apologize, I am feeling a little bit under the weather today, massive sore throat, but I am going to try to make this work for y'all today. Getting ready to start here in just over 2 minutes time. I'm going to try to give you a quick rundown of the driver standings. We're going to go ahead and start with P1 in the Drivers' Championship, which belongs to XRL Zola with 90 points, followed in P2 by SFR Shu as a reserve with 60 points. PR UFC with 55 holding on to P3, Valache with 51 as a reserve, Zen Guy with 45 as a reserve in P5, Flavor and Shikari in P6 and P7 with 43 and 42 points respectively, both reserves. Herbinator 13 in P8 with 41, Mr. Shark with 40 points holding on to P9, rounding out the top 10, Beastian with 35 points. JR Footballer as a reserve with 29 points in P11, Bauer with 28 points in P12, K18 in P13 with 27 points, Dad Stop Gaming in 14th with 25 points, XRL Dave as a reserve, 25 points in P15, XRL Lopez in P16 with 22 points, Extreme F1, whom has a quali ban today as well, with 16 points holding on to P17. Kenzie Retro in 18th with 14 points. Maddie was here in 19th with 8 points, and rounding out the top 20 is E-Diggity 75 with 7 points. In the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull leads with 112 points, followed by McLaren with 95. Aston Martin with 91, Williams with 83, Haas with 82, Mercedes with 68, Alpine with 57, Alfa Romeo with 52, Ferrari with 50, and AlphaTauri rounding out the bottom of the grid with 37 points. Of note today, Extreme F1 and Reese, who is not presently in the lobby, do have quali bans to serve today. We can see the timer now ticking down, 20 seconds until the start of the session. With a mere 14 drivers in the field today, all drivers, so long as they post any kind of lap time, will be advancing out of Q1. We have no call on the weather yet. Race control has not yet given us that information. We should have that information very shortly, however. And we have now gotten the word from race control that it will be a dry session through and through, save for a 12% chance of rain in the race, but for the most part, conditions anticipated to be dry, and we are seeing an Alfa Romeo and a Red Bull coming out of the pit now, followed by the Haas machine. And the second Alfa has now come out as well. TTM Zohan on the medium tire compound. XRL Lopez coming out in the Red Bull on the softs. RTT Ginge also on the softs for Alfa Romeo, and TRL Senna out on the softs for the Haas. We'll go ahead and follow around with TTM Zohan on the mediums as he starts his outlap. RTT Ginge now coming around the final corner to start his hot lap. We're going to ride on board with him. Extreme F1, as per his quali ban, has retired in the pits. He'll also need to retire in P2 as all 15 drivers will be advancing, and Lopez is out. See if we can get a line on where Lopez has gone out at. Riding on board with XRL Dave. And we are getting word from race control that Lopez has apparently had some manner of mechanical failure with his pedals and may be an early retirement from the race. We will update you as we get more information from race control. TRL Senna posting a 117.548 on the medium compound to set the benchmark for the session. Shikari as he comes around to the line with a 124.842. Maddie with a 116.377. Senna with Dave with a 117.245. Ginge with a 114.901. So on 117.393. JR Footballer with a 118.453. Zola coming around to start his fire. Looks like Zola has invalidated. So we're going to switch over to LV6 Beastian. It's just started a fire. Beastian crossed with 120.870 on the medium compound. This could be good enough to put him in 10th. Riding along with Flavor now, who's just started an outlap, and Footballer feeling confident enough in that medium compound time to retire with a 118.453. Of note, Flavor showing some strong pace thus far this season. If he can put himself in a position in Q2 and Q3 to challenge the top of the grid, he may have a shot at coming away with a good finish. Looking very strong coming through the final sector. Oh, and he's around. He's around. Zohan now on an outlap. Good old Zohan. I wonder if anyone's going to mess with him today, or if he's going to do any messing with anyone. Because you know, there's an old saying, Adam Sandler, you don't mess with the Zohan. And Zohan invalidates in Sector 2, ran a little wide in the S's. We're going to switch down to TRL Senna, currently qualified P7. Almost 4/10 up on his time, could potentially jump him up into P4, potentially P3. Yep, that'll jump into P4. Full 6, almost 7/10 up on his time. Come back down to Zola now in the pits. We're going to jump over to TTM Zohan, see what he's able to do. And Zola has retired in the pit lane with a 117.791. Beastian has also retired with a 120.870. The only two drivers out on track right now are Senna and Zohan. And Ginge is also out. And Senna has invalidated. So that leaves Zohan out on track. And Zohan has invalidated also. And Flavor coming in as well. Zohan looking good through Sector 2. And it does appear that he is out of fuel. Diggity looking very strong on the run down to turn 1. Smooth into turns 2 and 3, and he's around. He's around. Looks like he caught a little bit too much of the curve on the turn into sector 3, and that was enough to unsettle the car and put him into the grass. Zohan is now retired from the session with a 117.393. Again, with only 15 drivers in the situation in the session, all drivers will advance into Q2. Just a reminder that Extreme F1 will also need to E-Diggity going to come up to P9. Tire compound for Q2, which he is absolutely right in that. Mediums are a good reliable compound here. That's typically a tire that you wouldn't necessarily be looking to start the race on, but possibly run the mediums as a late stage tire. Start on softs and run softs to mediums. And then potentially a switch back to softs. At least that's how I would run a race around here. That strategy did get me a P2 and got me a P2 finish in the Extreme Realistic League. And at the end of Q1, all 15 drivers will advance. We'll take a look at the standings here. Ginge coming out on top. Shikari in P2. Maddie in P3. Senna P4. Hurricane P5. Dave P6. Zohan P7. Zola P8. E-Diggity P9. Flavor in 10th. Footballer in P11. Beastie in P12. Extreme in 14th and Lopez in 15th. Seems we are missing a 13. Missing the driver in 13th. And Zohan now coming out to start Q2. Shikari next out of the pit lane. Footballer also now out on track. We're going to go ahead and follow Zohan on his fast lap. A little squirrely coming out of the final turn. Corrects nicely. Oh, and Zohan into the wall. Zohan into the wall in Sector 2. Oh, and Footballer around on his fast lap. Shikari with the fastest lap with a 1:15.320. Footballer up in the P2 with a 1:16.659. Following Hurricane as he comes around to start his fast lap. Oh, and Hurricane's invalidated. Footballer now coming into the pit lane. Zohan pulling off to let Maddie past. Oh, and Zohan's around. Very, very unfortunate for Zohan here. However, we're going to switch over and ride on board with XR. Zola catapulting himself up into P4 with a 116.593. Hurricane now on a flyer. Hurricane coming up into P4 with a 116.534, knocking Zola down to P5. Maddie was here diving into the pit lane. We're going to ride on board with Beastian now. Beastian coming to town with a 117.937. We're coming up into P9 with a 117.306. Beastian unfortunately invalidates in Sector 2. Zohan now on a flyer. And Zohan up into P4 with a 115.980. down to Flavor in P9. Drivers in the drop zone with less than 1 minute to go are going to be Level 6 Beastian, eDiggity 75, and Lopez, who has yet to set a lap. With 14 drivers in the session, XRL Dave also potentially in the drop zone as well. Flavor coming into the pit lane. Not sure if Dave's going to have enough time to get around to start a hot lap. With mere 30 seconds left in the session, he's going to have to book it to get through there. Seconds. Can he get to the line quickly enough? 10 seconds. Come on, Dave. Come on. Get there. Get there. Get there. 2 seconds. And he's in there. He's in there. Just barely made it. It all comes down to this lap. Extremely strong. 3/10 up on his lap. Would be enough to sit him P6. Potentially P5. And Dave's going to come up to P5 with a 116.110. Fantastic showing from Dave. It's a fantastic lap under pressure from Dave, and in the drop zone are going to be Beastian, eDiggity, Extreme, and Lopez. Coming out on top, Shikari, Senna, Ginge, Zohan, Dave, Footballer, Hurricane, Zola, Maddie, and Flavor in the top 10 advancing to Q3. Zola in the stream chat apparently not very impressed with Dave's fantastic run under the gun at the end of Q2. We'll see what Zola's able to do in Q3 here. Zola having a bit of fun in the stream chat, suggesting that I should leave XRL Dave, aka Safety Car, alone. Zohan looking very strong thus far through Sector 3 on the medium compound. I'm going to call him for... Oh, Larry bobble into the wall there. And Zohan going to come across with a 117.774. Behind him, Maddie in Sector 2 on the soft compound. Sana going to come across with a 115.629. Shikari with a 115.806. Hurricane with a 116.194. Jinch to the top with a 114.517. Hurricane with a 116.194. Footballer coming into the pit lane as well. Flavor on a flyer now. Flavor, Maddie, and Zola, the only drivers out on track at the moment. Mike gonna come across with a 116.452, good enough for P5. Flavor diving into the pit lane. Dave coming across the line to start his flyer. He's got clear track ahead and behind. Unfortunately, he has invalidated. Riding on board with Maddie, who's just come across the line. As per the question in the stream chat, give me 1 second. I'll see if I can up that volume for you a little bit. I apologize. I am also fighting a massive sore throat. And I just appear to have been kicked from session, so give me just a moment. I will try to get back in. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for the momentary technical difficulties. All right, and there we go. To the individual in the stream chat, is the volume a little bit better? with the timer now having elapsed on Q3, it's looking like RRT Ginge is going to hold on to top slot. Senna is going to come P2, Maddie P3, Shikari P4, Footballer P5, XRL Dave P6, Hurricane P7, Zola P8, Flavor P9, and Zohan rounding out the top 10. And Flavor in the stream chat wishing everyone a good race. I just want to take a moment to mention, for those of you that are new to the stream, you are watching the Extreme Racing League's Development Tier Round 8 at Mexico. Just want to take a moment to give a shout out to all the people that work behind the scenes to make the XRL possible. And I want to take a moment also to ask all the new viewers to the stream, if you haven't done so already, please feel free to follow the channel, and if you're feeling really generous, to subscribe as well. Your subscriptions help make the Extreme Racing Leagues possible. Alright, and the top 10, all top 10 drivers are going to be starting on the soft tire compound, with the exception of Zohan, who will be starting on the medium compound. Once we get on the grid, I'll give you a rundown of the full starting positions. Again, 12% chance of rain during the race. Other than that, looking to be a relatively dry session here at Mexico. Also making mention of the fact that today's race at Mexico marks the 3rd anniversary of the Extreme Racing Leagues. Extreme Racing Leagues being founded jointly by XRL Lopez and XRL Zola just over 3 years ago, and has very quickly grown to be one of the largest racing leagues on Xbox. Any drivers wishing to join the Extreme Racing Leagues are required to be tested through the development tier. XRL also partnered with a number of leagues, including the XRRL Extreme Realistic Racing League, which is due to start back up once the new game comes out. It's full 100% races with realistic performance. We also have EFR, both the gold and silver tiers, centering more around drivers that are located in Europe. Those races running on, I believe, Tuesdays and Thursdays, if memory serves correctly. We have the Extreme North America League that runs on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Time. We also have the Development League, which runs on Saturdays at 5 p.m. UK time, as well as Sundays. Extreme 1, Extreme 2, and Extreme 3 also running on Sunday at Extreme 1 and Extreme 3 running at 5 p.m. and Extreme 2 running at 8 p.m. Those times can be verified on the XRL Discord server. Again, those drivers wishing to join the XRL do need to complete an initial entry test, which will ask you some basic questions about the Extreme Racing League's rules and regulations, and you do also need to perform a couple of placement races in the development tier. Some of the partner tiers do also allow you to be tested through their leagues for entry into the XRL. Race time just a few minutes away. We're going to go ahead and give you that grid rundown here very quickly. once I am able to actually get into these, and we'll go ahead and do that via Race Director. Looks like in top slot we're gonna have RRT Ginge starting on the medium compound, Senna in the Haas starting on the soft tire compound. Maddie was here in the Ferrari starting on mediums. Shikari starting P4 in the Haas on soft tires. Footballer starting in the Alpine in P5 on soft tires. Dave and Hurricane starting in the AlphaTauri and the Mercedes respectively, and P6, P7 both on soft tires. Zola and Flavor starting in the Red Bull and Williams, both on soft tires. Zohan rounding out the top 10 on soft tires. Beastian, E-Diggity, Extreme, and Lopez also are all starting on soft tires in P11 through P14. Ginge showing an impressive amount of pace today. It looks like he could be very much our potential race winner, but I would also not count out Shikari or Dave based on the way they've run today. Dave having a very, very impressive run at the end of Q2 to put himself in contention. Again, starting here in just a few moments' time. Thankfully, my voice has started to return a little bit, so comms should improve noticeably throughout the race. And as you can see, the timer has now started counting down. 20 seconds to go before the start of this 36-lap event. All right, 4 lights, 5 lights. And it's lights out and away we go. Ginge getting a fantastic jump on the field. Senna overtaking Ginge, dropping down to P3. Being set up here nicely for you. Oh, and it looks like the Haas is around. Jump up here to the front of the field, the fight between Shikari and Senna. Shikari pulling out half a second on Senna. Surprisingly, no safety car from that initial lap 1 incident. Shikari now pulling out to 7/10 on Senna. The drop back behind. Fight coming between Beastian and Flavor for P10 and P11 into the stadium. Oh, and Beastian running into the back of Flavor. We got Lopez, Footballer, Dave, and Extreme all coming into the pit lane to repair damage from that lap 1 incident. Lopez has retired in the pit lane. I'm assuming that may be due to technical failures that he was having earlier with his wheel and pedals. Not sure that that'll result in any kind of penalty from the stewards or race control, given that this was an issue that we were aware of. Zola hanging on to the back of Zohan by 0.6 of a second. The field already looking pretty spread out here. Bakari and Senna battling for the fastest lap. Senna getting up with a 1:18.132. Sorry, folks. Nothing close on track right now. Flavor gets a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. It's Dave all over the back of Extreme F1. DRS enabled. He may have the run on him. He's not going to have enough before the corner. Nearly into the back of him. E-Diggity has been disconnected from the session. Extreme with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Back up the front of the grid. Closest fight between Zohan and Zola right now. Zola taking a chunk of time out of Zohan. Closing to within 0.3. Maddie along the outside, diving to the inside of Hurricane. Run looking to the outside, go around the outside, claim the inside line. Drag him on the outside, and he's got him. So Hurricane will drop down to P6. Maddie will be elevated to P5. Next closest fight between Zola and Zohan. Zola taking a very aggressive line through the hairpin. Ginge closing to within 0.3 on Hurricane. And Ginge is going to dive into the pit lane once he may have sustained damage earlier in that lap, projecting he's going to go to the soft tire compound. Ginge does in fact go to the soft tire compound. And ladies and gentlemen, it appears I am experiencing the timing glitch. See if we can get those times sorted out for you here momentarily. Now have a time back from Footballer. As these drivers cross the line, we'll slowly get those times back for you. Zola with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Closest fight on track right now is going to be between Zola and Zohan. Once again, these drivers have been fighting through it for the last 7 laps. Zola 610. Zola rapidly closing on the back of Zohan. Going to make a move to the inside, nearly contact. Biding his time, looking for that inside line through the chicane. He could have gone to the outside line, but it was more to his benefit to stay to the inside for the better exit on Zohan. Senna with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Coming back to the fight between Dave and Extreme X1 for P8. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. We are still suffering from the timing glitch. Dave rapidly closing on the back of Extreme F1. Closest fight on track right now. Dave being very judicious with his use of ERS at 16%. The car ahead is E-Diggity 75. In 13th, E-Diggity going to need to let those drivers through. Extreme running extremely wide. Ginge posting a 117.045 for fastest lap of the race. Shikari 1.3 seconds up on Senna. Dave with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Dave closing the distance to Extreme, may be able to out-drag him down the straight here. Extreme with a bad exit. Oh, massive twitch from Extreme. And Beastian's gone. Beastian's gone. And that is going to bring out a safety car. Extreme getting a 10-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. I'm not sure quite what happened with Extreme, but we did see the back end start massively fishtailing. And it just seems simply like Extreme just lost control. But again, Beastian gone, and that has brought out a virtual safety car. We're going to try to get Beastian in here real quick and see if we can get some kind of explanation as to what may have occurred with him. And it looks as though Extreme F1 may have also retired in the pit lane, possibly due to the accumulation of penalties. Not 100% sure that's what has occurred, but just a reminder to anyone watching, retirements either in the pit lane or on track without the express consent of the admin team are not permitted in the in any tier of the XRL. The penalties as such for retirement on track is a race ban. Retirement in the pit lane is a quali ban as well. We see the grid slowly starting to stack back up here. Now experienced our first safety car of the session. TRL coming into the pit lane. That's going to put Shikari back in the lead slot, and we will be riding on board with Shikari for the safety car restart. Shikari having an absolutely fantastic race thus far. Flavor unlapping himself. During that safety car, several drivers have opted to change tire compounds. Shikari and Zohan in P1 and P2 on the medium compound. Maddie has gone to the hard tire compound. Senna and Zola have gone to the soft tire and medium tire compounds respectively. Hurricane has stayed out on his relatively fresh soft tires. Ginge has gone to the hard tire compound, looking to take that compound all the way to the end. He certainly has the pace to do it. Dave and Footballer on medium tires. Flavor and E-Diggity on soft tires as well. Just waiting on 4 drivers to catch the back of the grid, anticipating that we are going to go back green on, I'm going to call it lap 15. By lap 15, we will be back under green flag conditions. Waiting on race control to see if they have any information on Lopez's or Extreme's retirements. Again, we believe Lopez retired due to a technical malfunction involving his wheel and pedals, and it's also my belief up here in the commentary box that Extreme may have retired in the pit lane due to accumulated penalties. And I do have the word now from race control that Extreme did have an accident in turn 6, and that Lopez did retire due to a technical malfunction involving his pedals. So I just wanted to provide you with that updated information that Extreme was in fact not a pit lane retirement, and that he did die in turn 6. I just did not catch that on the stream. We are now back under green flag conditions. Shikari leads with a 1.1 second gap on Zohan. Zola being overtaken by Senna for P3. Very pitched battle between P2, P3, and P4. Zola hanging off the back of Senna by 0.3 of a second. Dave on the back of Maddie for P6. Ginge on the back of Dave. A little bit of contact between Ginge and Dave. Ginge coming around the outside on Maddie. Senna all over Zohan for P2. Drag race. Zola around the outside on Dave. Setting his sights on Hurricane now. 0.3 back. Oh, massive twitch from Zola. Forced to go defensive against Ginge, who easily slides through on the outside for P6. Back to Footballer on Maddie. DRS has now been enabled. Shikari with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Ginge on the back of Dave. Ginge to the inside for P5 over XRL Dave. With a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Ginge looking to challenge Hurricane down the main straight. Like he's going to get it done, pulling out to the outside. And dive across, great defensive move. And Ginge to P4. Senna challenging Shikari for pole. Senna to P1. And Senna with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Shikari with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. We're going to take a look at the penalties here real quick. We have Senna, Shikari, and Zola, all of the top three with 6 seconds of time penalties. Zola with 6 seconds of time penalties. Dave with 6 seconds of time penalties, and Flavor with 10 seconds. Shikari with a run on Senna to the inside. And Shikari's got him. Senna, however, staying all over the back of him. Pouring on the ERS. Shikari still able to gap him by a few hundredths of a second. That's all he needs. As long as he can neutralize any gain that Senna's getting, he can stay ahead. That is an example of perfect ERS usage. Senna taking a look to the inside. Coming up to the next DRS detection point. Senna to the outside. Senna's got him. Shikari fighting back to the outside. Leave him space. Good lap, good lap. Shikari with the DRS run down to the stadium. Footballer with a 3-second time penalty. Shikari on the outside, exhausting his DRS. Zola on Maddie. Accomplishing on that medium compound exactly what he needs to do, forcing Senna to overextend his tires, anticipating that Senna is going to be forced to pit here in the next 3 to 4 laps. Those soft tires are simply not going to be able to hold on to position. Oh, nearly contact on the overtake between Senna and Shikari. I think Senna might have been trying to send a little bit of a message there to Shikari saying, back off of me, buddy. Zola on Maddie for P5. Zola with a time penalty for multiple warnings. And Senna, as predicted, forced to come in, and that's going to elevate Shikari back to P1, and that's very shortly here going to bring him under attack. That's going to bring Shikari under attack from Ginge, 5.5 seconds back on 12 lap old hard compound tires. versus Shikari's 12 lap old mediums. Possible Ginge could outrun him with his 12 laps to go. Senna now in a fight with Zola for P5. Zola goes wide. And that'll cede P5 to TRL Senna. Senna with a bit of a twitch out of the final corner. Senna with a run on Maddie for P3. The question right now is, can Shikari's tires go the distance? He needs to pull another 11 laps. So the big question is, can he stretch a set of mediums to 24 laps and potentially secure this race win? And Shikari's going to answer that question by saying no. He's going to go to he's looking to go to a set. I'm willing to bet he's going to go to the softs. Would be the smartest move for him to put on the soft tire compound, and he is going to put on the soft tire compound in a quick in and out stop. May potentially come out ahead of. He is not going to come out ahead of Senna. He is going to come out ahead of Maddie, however. That gap should be fairly easy for Shikari to make up. Now the question becomes, is Ginge going to stay on the hard tire compound to the end, knowing that he has a medium runner and a soft runner behind him? Does he feel confident enough in those hard compound tires to make it all the way to the end of this race? Shikari rapidly closing time on Senna. Shikari to the outside of Senna, drag race. We got him. Ginge is going to do here. Does he stay out or does he come in? And he is going to stay out. I think he's going to try to run these the last 8 laps to the end. But with Shikari closing nearly a second a lap, as this lap counter ticks down, Ginge is going to have a tough proposition right in these last few closing laps to seal the deal with the Stamp Send It and get the job done. And Maddie was here, picks up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Maddie all over the back of Zohan. Dave with a 3-second time penalty. Shikari now close to within 9.7 of Ginge. Take a look at time penalties here. Reality is Ginge can afford to make a stop with the time penalties behind. Ginge can afford to make that stop. Because with now 6 laps to go, Shikari has close to the equivalent of 16 seconds, factoring in the 6 seconds of time penalties. And Zohan's gone. Zohan's gone, and that's going to bring out a... does that bring out the safety car? No indications of a safety car yet. No safety car, no safety car. Gap from Shikari to Ginge with 6 laps to go, now closed down to 8 seconds. Senna nearly 4 seconds off the back of Shikari. Yellow flags in Sector 2. Shikari's narrowed the gap to 7.5 seconds. Oh, Shikari off into the grass. I'm sorry, Senna off into the grass, I'm sorry. Zola closing the gap to Footballer to 1.7 seconds. Five. Down to 1.4. Down to 0.6. Looking for Zola to make his move on the main straight. Zola gets a great exit. On the outside, and he's got him. Zola in P6, Footballer behind, Dave with a 3-second time penalty. Just 3 laps to go. Closest fight on track is going to be between Zola and Footballer. Flavor with a 3-second time penalty. Hurricane with a 3-second time penalty. As it stands right now, Hurricane is going to jump Maddie on time penalties. Footballer is also going to jump Zola on time penalties. And barring anything spectacular, it looks like Ginge is going to walk out of here with the race win. And we can hear the fireworks going off as Ginge comes around the final corner to take the checkered flag and win the Mexican Grand Prix for development tier. Coming around for P2 is going to be Shikari. Center for P3. Maddie and Hurricane coming around the final corner. Maddie's going to take P4, Hurricane's going to take P5, Zola is going to take P6. Oh, footballers around. Footballer to P7. Dave to P8. Nearly makes contact with footballer. And Shikari, I 100% agree for driver of the day. He put on a fantastic run against Ginge. Ultimately, not able to get the job done, but a very valiant struggle. Very good fight between those two drivers. Alfa Romeo taking home the top slot with Haas's on the second and third steps of the podium. Alright, so final standings are Ginge as the race winner, Shikari, Senna, Maddie, Hurricane, Zola to P6, Footballer to P7, Dave to P8, Flavor to P9, E-Diggity to P10, Zohan, Extreme, Beastian, and Lopez all DNFing. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Extreme Racing League's development tier round 8 at Mexican Grand Prix, marking the 3rd anniversary of the Extreme Racing Leagues. I have been your host, XRL Dragon, and we will see you next week. Make sure you tune in tomorrow for Extreme 1, Extreme 2, and Extreme 3.